This episode is brought to you by SafeJet, the operators of the anti-dump mechanism that you see all other DeFi projects copying. SafeJet is the safest coin in the crypto game, protecting you from your whales and chart manipulators. That way your investment is still there in the morning. Free travel, cash giveaways, an experienced and doxed team also lets you lock, fly, and land with SafeJet. For more information, visit safejet.io, link in the description below.
But we're mainly focused on generative art. We actually have a few different contracts. This is our new Intent.art contract, but we have another one, Intent.Genesis. And what you see in front of you is not a JPEG or a video. It's actually long-form generative code running, and you can click on it. It changes every time, but it's clickable forever. And you'll always get like a new image. And the meaning behind it is really amazing. That all that we see in the NFT world, there's so much distraction happening, so many like bright, shiny things that we want to get, so much FOMO. But the meaning of this collection is that for everything to be able to pass through the eyes and dissipate, so that you can be without that craving constantly.
If you want to see more videos and interviews like this from influential people in tech, finance, and sports, subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the bell to be alerted. And go a step further and join the YouTube and membership area for early releases of videos like this. I'm out of here. It's your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another Kicking It session. Today I've got the co-founder of Intent.art on with me, Blue Moon. A special soul. I met her in New York at the Harmony One project event. We had a great conversation, and she has a very unique NFT project, and I want to talk to her about that, and also Intent.art, a pretty neat mission, if you want to say, for an NFT house. So Blue Moon, thanks for coming on today with me. How are you?
Hi, it's really great to be here. Thanks for having me on. I'm doing great, just adjusting to the time difference after NFT NYC, because as you may know, I'm based in Berlin, so it's about a 6-hour time difference. And
I did not realize that, so that's great. You're all zenned out, you're on the floor, you know? Yeah, I did not know you were in Berlin, so this is great. So tell me about yourself first before we get into Intent.art and your project. What is it called? One Drop, right?
Yeah, hashtag One Drop NFTs.
Yeah, I'm very interested in that. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you technical, or do you come from a different background?
Well, as you know, my name's Blue Moon, and I'm co-founder of Intent.art. We're an art, tech, and sustainability forward NFT artist collective that's based in Berlin, and we're all about doing everything with the maximum intention. My background is more in art. I got my bachelor's degree in media art with an emphasis in film and video, and also did some performance art as well. And I kind of took a break from art making until recently, when I joined the Artist Collective, and I saw Web3 as a huge opportunity to make a difference in the world. So the way that I see it is this is an opportunity for us to reach marginalized communities, to tackle some issues that have been difficult to tackle in Web 2 and beyond, or like, I guess, behind, because of the issues of centralization. And so when I was entering this space, I was thinking about what is the way that I want to enter the space. So number one, I wanted to give more than I was receiving. And number two, I wanted to do something really community oriented. And number three, I wanted to do something that was going to make a statement about something that I cared about. And so I was thinking about issues that, that I care about, in the past. And one thing that has come up a few times is that I'm seeing a censorship of menstruation happening in real life, in Web 1, like on TV, or like in writing, and in Web 2 on our social media. And so I decided to do something about it with my first project in the NFT space. That's why I created hashtag One Drop NFTs, which has the mission is to destigmatize menstruation through discussion and through art. We're also raising funds for charities, and we are raising the visibility of female, non-binary, and male ally artists. So essentially what I've been doing is every week since February 7th this year, that's 2022, I've been hosting Menstrual Mondays Twitter Spaces, allowing people to tell any story that they wish to tell about menstruation so that we can start hitting that destigmatization part of it. Because I think that every time we tell a story, that stigma gets chipped away and we become more comfortable talking about something that is normal and natural, and something that women and menstruating people have been having issues about getting advocacy around for a very, very long time. I've learned a lot through these spaces and also made some really wonderful connections with other creators in this space and collectors and NFT supporters as well. And then during that time, I also was collecting artwork from different NFT artists. And I have a collection now of 67 pieces of 1/1 artwork from 52 different artists. And all of that work is menstruation themed, and it's all a part of the official #OneDropNFTs collection, which is now listed for sale on OpenSea and looks rare. So they're all of the pieces are listed for 0.1 ETH right now. And 80% of all of the sales is going to a period poverty fund. 15% of it goes to the planet. That's part of our sustainability fund. And then 5% goes to administration fees. And if you want to just scroll up a little bit here, I see you kind of scrolling through the red paper right there. This is one of the first examples of the censorship that I saw. The example IRL NYC subways. So this was an ad for Thinks Period panties, which prior to this were not mainstream at all. I think this was in 2015. So this brand Thinks, which makes reusable period panties, made these ads for the New York City subways, and they were sent back by the Metropolitan Transit Authority for being inappropriate, basically. Which, to somebody who has a period and is happy to see representation and also like more advanced products being offered, it is kind of infuriating given the fact that lingerie ads, which are way more racy than what we just saw on that ad there, are deemed appropriate and perfectly fine for public consumption all across America. So why this? And then the second example that I saw that was just like, what, was from RuPaul's Drag Race. One of my favorite drag queens named Manila Luzon was on the set of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars and wanted to wear this pad dress down a runway that was themed curves and swerves. And anybody who has purchased many pads before knows that, you have ones that have the hourglass shape curve, and this drag queen made a dress with that theme, and I think it's pretty beautiful. And actually, this was apparently in bad taste, according to RuPaul's words. That's according to Manila's Instagram post that she wrote about it. But she said that she wasn't allowed to wear this down the runway of RuPaul's Drag Race, which again seems kind of ridiculous because RuPaul's Drag Race, in RuPaul's words, is a show about female impersonation. And how do we have all of these like non-menstruating, mostly non-female contestants, competing and impersonating females, impersonating women in many different sorts of ways. Some ways I'm not a super big fan of, especially in the acting challenges, but for that part of the female experience to not be celebrated on this show about female impersonation, to me, I was like shocked. And Mitchell said that her goal in making the dress was to show that a woman can be sickening even when she's on her period, which I think is like a really wonderful message to be able to tell, and no other drag queen has done something like that before.
Okay, that's interesting. So my question, I want to back up to the part about you being a traditional artist. And did you embrace NFTs initially, or were you one of the ones that were very this is not real art? I saw that a lot, or I heard that a lot on Clubhouse in the early days when NFTs became very popular on that platform. What was your initial take of NFTs in the art form? Yeah, I'm just interested to know how you felt about that initially.
So I think the thing with NFTs and with Web3 technology in a general sense is that Web3 is an internet of ownership. And this is something that I knew of very early on. And one of the first things that I learned about NFTs is that an artist can get royalties in perpetuity. And I know that from working, let's say, in the entertainment industry, it's very rare for talent to get royalties in perpetuity. And let's say we are all familiar with artists who work hard their entire lives just to basically like die in poverty because their artwork may be sold for a small amount of money and then it is turned around and resold for a larger amount of money to somebody else, but none of that secondary sale goes back to the artist. With NFTs, this is like a basic part of the technology, and I saw that as a huge opportunity right away. I saw this as justice for artists and a really, really huge opportunity for anybody who's making art to be able to get paid fairly for their work, which I think is something that in American culture and Western culture in a general sense, artwork and artists are not valued in society, I think, in a proportional level to the value that they bring to society. I think that art and artists are very, very important to the human existence. Just I've been thinking a lot of just, how do we exist as humans and what parts of our existence are very, very important. I think being like showing up for people, community, which is another thing that we see a lot in Web3, is very important. But I think that art also and expression is super, super important. And in today's capitalist society, when we're just looking at, what can be produced for the least amount of money, no matter who gets screwed over or, land gets extracted from endlessly, we're not seeing that so much. So, right away I saw the value there, especially for artists. And for anybody who has their doubts, I would say that the only difference between any kind of digital art that's on the web and NFT art is the ability to prove the ownership. So verifiable proof of ownership is what Web3 offers. And to me, that doesn't change the quality of the art itself. Is it art or is it not art? It has nothing to do with whether or not it's on the blockchain, but you are able to prove ownership that way. And that does add value to the art and allows the money to flow back to the original artist where it should.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I'm curious to know, why do you think so many artists? Well, I don't know if there were a lot or what, but it seemed like a lot of artists were pushing back on this technology when it really would bring freedom to them. I didn't see. It wasn't like they were art houses on Clubhouse saying this is nonsense, this is not real art. Of course, it would be in their best interest to keep it the way it's been for hundreds of years, the art world. So why do you think so many artists were pushing back on this revolutionary technology?
I think that people are afraid of what they don't understand, and this technology is brand new. And I think people also have a problem, just in a very general sense, with change and understanding new things. And so you could explain it, a million times, but it might take 1,000,001 for somebody to see how this is actually in their best interest. But I think that I think people might also be confusing the tech with the culture. And we know that the NFT culture does have a problem with like white male dominance, just as we do in society in a general sense. And so there's this bro-y culture. It's very focused on money and very little else. But don't confuse that with the technology itself. The technology itself is about decentralization. It's about shared ownership. It's not about centralized power. That's what we already have. That's what we're trying to get away from. And the sad thing is that anybody who's not willing to get on board is actually like holding us back, I think. Because we need more people to get on the train so that we can get this train going. We need more people able to show what we're capable of doing when we have diverse creators and diverse investors in this space, and not doing this thing where we have a very small number of people pulling the strings like we see in the media, in the news, in politics, etc., which is mostly like older, white, and male. I think
Yeah.
I think it's time for something different. But like I said, people don't. It's a lot to wrap your head around. It's really a lot. It's like learning about the internet for the very first time, and I still don't understand the internet. Like, do you? I don't know how it works, and I don't
Yeah,
even.
I do because I'm I have a technical background, but yeah, most people don't. You're absolutely right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, question like, how do you feel about the whole Beeple and Sotheby's and Christie's getting into the space, trying to, in my opinion, exploit the movement?
Do
That
you think people is exploiting the movement?
no, Sotheby's
Oh,
and
Sotheby's.
Christie's, these art houses, these auction houses. Like, how do you feel about that when we really don't need them anymore with this technology?
We don't, but there's still going to be people who, are looking for some certain qualities in the art. Beeple's artwork is valuable because he has been creating digital art for a very long time, very consistently. That's really valuable. So I say props to him. When it comes to outside, like let's say Web 2 or behind technologies or communities coming into Web 3, I say that there's three values that we need to keep in mind. So number one, community. Web 3 is a very community focused space. And, as such, it's not about the concentrated, power at the top. We're talking about serving, everybody. And then on that note, also decentralization. Let's say all of the power being decentralized to everybody while we're uplifting the community. And number three, transparency. Are they being clear about what they're doing? And blockchain transactions are very transparent. You can track where money is flowing very easily because it's all on the blockchain. I personally don't have a really big problem with these bigger art houses coming in because they have a certain clientele. Those clientele are going to respond to certain things. I think that there's space for everybody, but we should be really thinking about the rules. They should be playing by the same rules that everybody else is playing.
And what do you mean by that? What do you mean by playing by the
three
same
values.
rules?
Yeah,
Okay.
the three values. So the community, the decentralization, and the transparency. Are they doing all of those things? Then I think that it's okay. Because the problems that I think are really what do you think is the problem with Sotheby's coming in and auctioning large?
That's an additional middleman. There's no need with NFTs. You're adding another person. You can literally set up a smart contract that represents and does exactly what Sotheby's is doing. Right? They're extracting more value from ultimately the end user. So Beeple, could have gotten X amount of more million from the sale if Sotheby's weren't involved. Now, one could say that he wouldn't have gotten 60 million if he didn't go through Sotheby's, but I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't know. I don't. It's hard to say. Maybe we'll never know.
Yeah,
But it
we
sounds like
probably won't.
it sounds like the issue that you're having with it is like the centralization aspect, right? That
Right.
like, they're saying that they have the power, and actually it should be decentralized. And technically, a lot of NFT artists, we don't need these funnels. But I think there are still some people, especially those who are coming from the traditional art world, who want to see curation happening. And we're even seeing that on a lot of the NFT marketplaces right now, like Super Rare, for example. You can only get on there if you're special, for whatever reason. And I'm seeing, a little bit more decentralization happening and less gatekeeping, but I don't know, that's going to be really hard to get around, I think.
Yeah, I mean, as humans, we're going to always have gatekeepers and things. Even in a decentralized manner, you're still going to have, I think, like you said, you have these platforms like OpenSea, super rare, looks rare. Those platforms, you still have the homepage, right? And someone plays politics to get on that homepage, right? So
Yeah.
there's always that gatekeeper element, I think, that you're gonna have. But I don't know. I see Sotheby's and you know your Christie's as far as art goes. I see them either having to conform and really become more decentralized or go away altogether. But I don't think they'll go away altogether. I just hope that they kind of have to catch up to what's going on in on our side of the train tracks.
I think that's likely. Rich people do rich people stuff. They're going to
Right.
play over there, but I think that there's still a lot of progress being made with artists being able to find collectors without the need of art houses like Sotheby's and Christie's. So it's not a huge concern of mine, to be honest.
What is a concern of yours in the art world at this point?
Um, let's see. I think that there is a lot of gatekeeping. I think that even though Web3 offers a huge opportunity for us to take action on things that are really important, many people are seeing Web3 and NFTs in a general sense, and I think also crypto, not as a way to like reform our society, but as a way just to simply make money. And so they're kind of like playing it in the same way that the people who already messed up our economy have been playing it, and just being like really hyper focused on profits instead of impact. So I'd say that's like the number one thing that I would personally like to
Yeah.
see changed is like more impact in Web3.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just to jump topics really quickly, at the Harmony One event, were you aware of the big hack they had?
Yeah,
You
and that's
were? I
yeah.
did. Okay.
I found out about it at the end of the week, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I know of it, and I'm not like super read up on it, but Harmony One had like a over $100 million hack
Hmm.
happen, and they traced who did it, and then basically it goes back to some hacker group that's government backed in North Korea, which means that there's no extradition. There's basically no way that they're going to be able to get that money back, which is
How did
really.
they get the private keys of two? I don't know, man. That was just weird.
I have no idea. I think it has something to do with bridges. So this is the thing that I keep hearing is that like we're not going to be in a cross chain world because those bridges are
They're
just
not.
full. Yeah.
Yeah,
But we
they're
will be
not.
in a multi-chain world, and we're going to be using different crypto blockchains for different things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. No, I just wanted to know if you knew about it because Trek and we came to the event the last day that I met you, and I had no idea about it until I got back home. So I was just wondering. Let's talk about Intent.art. I have your OpenSea web page up here. Kind of just give us who's your co-founder? I know you're co-founder. Who's the other partner in your Intent.art
If you
movement?
go to, well, we have there's three founding members. So one of them
Okay.
is me, Blue Moon. The other one is Jiwa. He's known as Jiwa on Twitter. And then the third member is Dr. Benton Banner. Jiwa
Okay.
is a super talented developer, full stack developer. He does Solidity. He basically did all of the smart contracts for our collections.
Nice.
And he's also a really talented crypto artist and is making his own live, like long form generative code art. So that is kind of the stuff that you see on FX Hash, which he has a collection on now. And that's a Tezos. That's a marketplace for just Tezos art that is live generative code. So that's all code art. It's not JPEGs, it's not videos, it's live running code that's on the page. Those are the NFTs that are sold there.
So is that what you meant by generative plus? Is that what that
Yeah, I mean,
means?
well, generative plus is like, okay, so we mostly do generative art. But the plus is like also other stuff. And I would say actually that the hashtag one drop NFTs collection, which we're looking at right now, is not a generative collection. This is all one, like a community sourced collection.
Right.
So but we're mainly focused on generative art. So we actually have a few different contracts. This is our new Intent.art contract, but we have another
Hmm.
one. Intent.Genesis. And actually, if you look to the side, there's 3 collections here. We have One Drop NFTs, which we've seen a lot of here. There's another collection. Yes. Okay, that's Intent Genesis. We can go there. So this was our first contract, and this is on the ERC 721A contract, which is a little bit less gas efficient. The new one, Intent.art, is on the ERC 721A contract, which saves our collectors a lot of money on gas, on like minting fees, especially if they're minting multiple pieces at once. But what you're seeing here, there are 2 collections primarily on this contract. One of them is Neo Vita, and this is where we see the really like beautiful swirling classical art pictures. They're all animated photography. And this was our Genesis collection that we sold out in the beginning of the year, which was super, super exciting for us. And the other collection that we have here is called Dissipation. And this is Jiwa's flagship collection of long-form generative art. So this is what I was telling you about. And what you see in front of you is not a JPEG or a video. It's actually long-form generative code running, and you can click on it. It changes every time. It's actually kind of weird that it's doing that scroll thing, but it's clickable forever. And you'll always get like a new image. And the meaning behind it is really amazing, that all that we see in the NFT world, there's so much distraction happening, so many like bright, shiny things that we want to get, so much FOMO. But the meaning of this collection is that for everything to be able to pass through the eyes and dissipate, so that you can be without that craving constantly. So I thought the meaning was really, really
very
beautiful.
neat. Very neat.
Yeah. And the Neo Vita collection, I think it's Latin for new life. And this is all about kind of dismantling the old ways of society and building something new with Web3. So that was really beautiful. So then we switched to the new ERC 721A contract, which is more gas efficient. We have the One Drop NFTs collection, which is all menstruation themed art. And then we also have the Fuck Putin collection, which is also a code project. And this one was created in response to the invasion in Ukraine. And this was an experimental social NFT. So originally, all of these NFTs had a button on them that you could press. And then it gives you a space to enter your ETH address. And then you can choose from 9 different words. And what the point of it was to send it to people in your network. They click on it, they enter their ETH address, and then they click a word. And then after that, there's like a period of that social part closes. And then the original NFT is now updated with this final version that has all of the words that people that you sent it to clicked on, which is really cool. And then the third act, which actually just finished, everybody who participated gets a shadow Polygon version of the NFT, and that's on our Polygon contract. So obviously you can see here, I mean, we were really upset about the invasion in Ukraine, especially our proximity in Berlin. We're so close, and we really wanted to do something about it. So we sold these NFTs for 0.1 ETH each and raised money and directed 100% of the sales to the Ukraine DAO wallet, so that we could, it was our way of doing something for positive change there and to support the Ukrainians there.
Nice. Now this is great here. I guess to sum it all up, kind of let us know what is on the radar, on the roadmap for the rest of the year for Intent.art.
Ooh, we got so much travel planned actually, and we're looking at getting featured at a couple different NFT conferences. We're just like art making machines out here, and so there are several collections. Like if you go to my Twitter bio and click on the links, there are most of the see the link in the bio there, so you can see actually like little previews of each of the collections that we have. But there's actually 2 new ones that just came up by Dr. Benton Banner that are really beautiful. And so, we're just trying to sell art. we're trying to build the community, especially here in Berlin, because I think that even though Web3 is a global phenomenon, you really can't understate how important local community is. And so we're building here in Berlin, and I don't know, we have some things in the works, maybe some fashion projects, because we want to make a statement about sustainable fashion as well. And yeah, lots of things. For the hashtag One Drop NFTs collection, I hope to sell out very soon. And after that, I will be collecting art for a season 2 from like a more curated artist selection. And then trying to raise more money for the Period Poverty Fund. And then also I want to bring the art and the IRL experience to different cities around the world, because it is really important to have these conversations in person with real people and allow them space in real life to tell their stories. And so that's just some more of the impact that we want to make.
So the One Drop NFT release, that each one is a one of one?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. I gotta give me some. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a lot of really great pieces that are still
available. There were.
I'm kind of shocked.
Yeah. All right, that's great. I appreciate you, Blue Moon, for coming on. Guys, make sure you go check out Blue Moon's website, Intent.art. That's with an Ntent.art. Click those thumbs up. If you like this interview, I'll do more like this. It's been another Kicking the Session with your boy Crypto Blood. We're out of here. Holla!